and yeah, it kind of like jumps on the wagon, and for good reason.
Wait, what?
Like this party, it's kind of more like right now. It just seems like it's a Mad Max fan club kind of thing. Like, cause I don't know.
Well, yeah, he
Which it is.
He didn't get elected to be the leader of it.
Yeah, true. He created it, so it technically kind of is.
So he's the fucking leader. But I find it, like, man, I went on his website, MaximeBernier.com, and he has like a segment about free speech where he talks about the complications between M103 and Bill 16 and how it limits speech and how he was originally for the bills, and then he came to understand how they were going to affect the speech of the general public, introducing compelled speech.
It's because he's a huge Jordan Peterson fan.
Yeah, he talked about Peterson like in that article. Yeah. But it's like part of his platform that like he acknowledged like the full scope of these movements and how they were tied to these like these sensitive issues. And
so then, how does this other guy have the right? So what's going on? There's shit going on in the party then that like.
I want to fucking interview Jared Pence, and I want to fucking like
trap the shit with him, like you said.
No, I don't want to trap him. I just want to.
That's he said the tag.
Well, I said I wanted to subdue and betray. I wanted to ask him questions, which led to his inevitable like opening up to say that he wasn't actually the representative of what the party stood for. Just like some fucking 23-year-old gay conservative who wants status for being edgy, but at the same time, like, isn't courageous enough to break the status quo. Yeah. Or doesn't even understand why it needs to be broken. Yeah. Like, this kid might actually, like, not understand. And that's, like, what's really scary, is that he's, like, in the People's Party championing for what he thinks is liberty. But, like, he doesn't understand. So that's why I want to interview him. I want to actually, like, see where he's at, because he's, like, the poster boy right now.
There's a debate for like the candidates of the People's Party to represent Oxford or whatever. I think it's in the beginning of May. I think it's like May. Let me check. May 11th, maybe?
I'm just recording, so. Sorry, you said there's a meeting in...
There's a debate, for the candidates of the People's Party for Oxford.
A debate for the People's Party of Oxford, eh?
Yeah.
Who are the candidates?
I've only got an email from 3 people, so that's the only people I know. There's Wendy Martin, this Andrew Sains guy that I emailed. I haven't looked at Wendy's shit yet. There's a lot of... she actually seems pretty legit, too. She has, like, a full platform out. Look at this. When she made this. I haven't read it yet. But it was like fucking everything. Like she's actually like detailed as to what she wants.
Oh, well, that's good that, you know, if you are like a political figure, that you have a platform, that you actually put work into writing a platform.
No shit. Like
more than Doug Ford can say.
Yeah. He never really had one. It was
he didn't.
It was just buck of beer, but
he won.
He won, but that buck of beer was literally his biggest thing that he ran on for his campaign.
Some guy got kicked out of our house show for moshing too hard, and he got kicked out. He was like, "I love Doug Ford," and he like thought, I don't know, this was like the scene that was it was like a bunch of fucking music kids, right? So everybody kind of just thinks Doug Ford's a big joke outside of the music scene.
I was at Wonderland. We went to Wonderland on Sunday.
I did to Cairns Wonderland on Sunday.
Yeah, and at the top of every ride, like every roller coaster, I'd yell 9/11 was an inside job and scream it at the top of my lungs. And then I was with Joe too. So me and Joe were walking around, and then he'd randomly turn around and really loud, he'd be like, "Hey, what was that inside job again?" And I'm like, 9/11? And Ashley and Jackie are like, "Shut the fuck up. Like, stop yelling that shit." We're like, what? Like, people gotta know, man. Like,
that's so funny.
No one ever said anything. Like, we were loud.
Did you get any looks? Like, anyone?
No. Like, we were super obnoxious about it too. Like, I'm really surprised. Like, no one.
Man, the other day, some guy walked by me, and he was like a 40-year-old, kind of neurotic-looking dude with like short curly hair and glasses, like really bulgy eyes. And he walked by me. He's like hunched over, like really quick pace, and he saw me like. Because I was just walking too, so I saw him. He saw me looking at him, and then he put up a clipboard up over his face and he said, Infowars.com. And the clipboard said Infowars.com.
Really?
Yes.
What a gag.
It was so weird, dude. It was like not a normal dude. He's really out of it. That's so funny.
You can't get out of the rabbit holes. You're just stuck within.
Yeah.
Can't break out.
He's like
Can't break out for a minute.
printing off fucking Pink Floyd lyrics and like holding them in the mirror by candlelight. Oh. So yeah, I'm gonna tell me more about this debate thing on
I gotta find out when it is.
because if it's Woodstock that matters, there's a People's Party event.
Yeah, it's on Thursday. I'm fucking pissed.
Thursday, May 2nd in Toronto.
The pub night thing.
Yeah, it's pub night. So that'll be pretty interesting to see the Toronto representatives. I wonder if Maxime Bernier himself will show up.
He might.
He might. It is Toronto after all.
Yeah. He probably will.
So I'm hoping to go there to actually bring a camera and a microphone and interview some people. I'd really like to get like a perspective as to like what some of like the smaller members in the party actually think and like how they're going to be, like if they're even like willing to defend their opinions or if they're just going to get eaten by mob rule.
That's the thing I'm worried about. Like,
that's the thing.
If I'm going to support someone, I want them to be like not afraid. Like,
yeah, otherwise
like, I don't want you to be a little bitch. Like, you better like just stand there and like take it because you're about to get fucking slaughtered. So you like if you're becoming a candidate for this party, you have to understand that.
Yeah. The number one rule for people who are, you know, kind of anti-progressive, anti-radical progressive, they're kind of like, you have to keep your cool. I feel like like what people call modern leftists, they get like radically like they get really impassioned. Yeah. And then they lose their wits about them, and then that's like what, and you know, if you get called a name that you don't like to hear, or like, you know, you hear some point that like disrupts, like, you know, it's a big cognitive dissonance because it just doesn't line up with how you view the world, like, yeah, no doubt you're going to have an emotional reaction, and I feel like there are like buzzwords and things that, you know, anyone is ready to call anyone else, and you just have to totally get over it, totally ignore it, keep your cool, and then realize like when someone is acting as an ideologue and like not as an individual, because it's really easy to argue an ideologue because they don't actually think like any original thoughts.
No,
like,
it's all,
you learn the talking points.
It's all like their
Once you learn
they're very rigid points.
Once you learn the talking points, and you'll learn quickly that they can't refute any of your debate because they don't actually learn critical thinking. They just learn the talking points. Yeah. So I think it's like, I'm interested to try to talk to some people who claim to be like for freedom of speech and like be at a larger venue in Toronto. I wonder if it'll get anti-fa'd or like protested or something.
Probably.
Because the media's already painting Mad Max to be a far-right figure.
Oh yeah. Any article there's not many articles that'll come out about him, but any article I see, they have far-right in the fucking headline. And then they'll have like the one article. What I'm thinking, I read this article from Huffington Post, which is the one I think that Matt Radford dude is referring to, and they were like slamming the party as just like accepting candidates left, right, and center and not really vetting them properly, and saying that like they're getting a bunch of far-right figures into the party being candidates, and conspiracy theorists was used. So conspiracy theorists are trying to become candidates of the party.
You don't think that government agencies are having backdoor deals like SNC Lavalin and Trudeau's Liberals? Like, it's like
that's the whole thing.
It's like there are conspiracy is just such a buzzword. We need to figure out a word that doesn't.
That's another thing I want to mention. Bring up to this party is like, how are you guys planning to combat like the negative media twist on anything? Like, how are you gonna fight that?
I feel like
they're just gonna get like anything they do, there's gonna be a twist on it automatically.
I feel like national subsidies for media companies like Global News, CBC, things like that in Canada. Cut them right the fuck off. Like, absolutely cut them off.
Which is possible if Liberals are out.
Yeah, or like make them sign an agreement to like align themselves with journalistic integrity and like not have these like spin stories. I actually saw something that was comparing fake news articles online to that of April Fool's articles from like a number of years ago, and like the tropes used in April Fool's articles from like 2007, 2008, 2009. You know, oh my god, like what is this? And you fall for it for a second, then you realize, oh, it's fucking April Fool's. Yeah. And it's like, so all of these like news articles that are kind of propagandist, like that are coming out right now. There's actually this study online that was like showing a lot of similarity between April Fool's posts and like these fake news posts. And the conclusion was that like if we understand the process behind the people that write April Fool's joke posts, we can actually understand how to discern what a fake news post is. Yeah, this is a real thing. I can't remember where I heard it, but I think it was through Tim Pool or maybe Joe Rogan, one or the other. But yeah, weird. It was like a real thing. Do you have a piece?
Yes.
Excellent. I think I need a piece of that.
I'm asking this Andrew guy one of the visits. I don't know. I think it's May 11th.
Who's this Andrew guy? What's his deal?
He's just another. Here, I can let you read his email if you want. I basically told him where I stand on some things and wanted to know where he stands.
He's like another Oxford candidate?
Yeah. That's the email if you want to read it. You get a piece. It's not too long. A few paragraphs.
We're currently living under a tyranny of social justice. If you say something against the left's views, they will attack you in the worst ways possible. It's time to reverse this and have our law enforcement crack down on such tribalism. Interesting. Canada and by extension the US are lucky. We have the Atlantic Ocean to act as a naturally border. Europe is not as lucky. Okay, that's grammatically incorrect. That's okay. I'm not sure if Trudeau suffers from white guilt, but his views on immigration do not help the country. Some immigrants have education money and share our culture. We could absolutely let them in, but most do not and should be turned back. Okay, that's pretty harsh.
I feel like he doesn't really have like.
I don't think he has a huge understanding.
No, I feel like he has a very vague understanding. Which
about 80% of refugees are in our welfare system by the first 5 years. Okay. I wish I could tell you that we can do something about America's wars, but I do not think Canada is powerful enough to influence U.S. foreign policy. Nevertheless, I think people from those countries will try to immigrate to the West either way. Wars just speed up the process.
I brought up like being real about war in the Middle East and like if we're gonna like we have to like acknowledge that Western countries are fucking.
So you're
adding to the dispersion of people.
There are excuses to increase taxes, otherwise 100% of the profits would go toward clean energy credits, something like electric cars, as Canada already produces excess electricity. This would allow us to reduce the amount of oil we import, improving our trade balance and energy dependence. Andrew Sainz Nieto?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
I don't know, I'm going to read through that Wendy chick's platform too. She emailed me like twice, like she was really fucking on top of...
Yeah. Well,
are you a member?
Yeah.
You are now?
Yeah. We should try to set up some debates. Not debates, some panels with like Matt Radford.
Yeah.
Josh.
I'm fucking pissed that that guy's out.
That guy's name.
Like, that guy's not in anymore.
Jordan Pence. That guy, Andrew. What was his name?
Andrew Sainz. Nieto.
Try to set up some interviews in the near future and really try to get this channel off the ground.
Canadian Outlier?
Canadian Outlier Media.
Nice. I like that.
Or no, it can't be that. It's too long. We'll think of something, though.
Just Canadian Outlier is good, too.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears for a second, go to fainting.